So when you go home to visit, you'll have no excuse to miss.
Yes. Okay.
Good? Not sure yet?
He just wants to make sure that it's all on YouTube and LinkedIn too.
Okay. Well, I figure if we're going to do this, let's do it right. We'll get it right, and we'll hit the ground running.
That's right.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, not a problem. I used to stream as well, so I know how much of a hassle it can be at times.
Who's watched a live stream before on social media where someone stands awkwardly in front of a camera for about 2 minutes to say, I'm just going to wait until I get enough followers on here to start my message? Has anyone ever seen that? Yeah. I scrub and grab a video like that, and I go until I see them start to flap their gums consistently, and then I know they've started, and it's usually like 30 to 60 seconds. So
I was gonna say my biggest problem is I always forget to turn my mic on, and so I'm talking and it's just dead silence the whole time. And I'm like, oh man. So luckily Tim's got me good. So
yeah, yeah, audio is huge. If you're just a side note on audio, if you're ever making selfie videos or you're making content, invest in. Dan's wearing one now. This mic setup from DJI is about $200, $250. But if you're going to get into the creator space, it works with phones, it works with cameras. It is a fantastic piece of hardware, and it does a really great, nice, and we're modeling it. It's a great piece of hardware, well worth the investment, because there's, to Dan's point, there's nothing worse than watching quality video and not being able to understand anything that's being said. So if you're looking for a business write-off, it's an easy $200, $250. Good to go?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're live streaming all around the World Wide Web. We are here today with Dan Reardon from Pro Circular. Dan is a cybersecurity expert. Some of you have gotten a chance to chat with him. While we get started, I want to say thanks to our friends and sponsors. Thanks to everybody who came, but to our friends from Bucknell University and the Small Business Development Center. Thanks to our sponsors, WNS Distributors, and to Ivy Coffee, who have provided some drinks. Stephen, would you like to say anything about the SBDC?
Absolutely.
I'll let you jump in here, and then we'll get started with Dan.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I was checking what the live stream looks like. So, Dan, both of us are in frame here. All right. But mainly for the folks who are taking a little bit of time out of your afternoon to join us here at Cup of Code, thanks for investing in yourselves. This is a time to learn. This is a time to make connections for your business. And one of the resources that I want to make sure you're aware of is Bucknell University's Small Business Development Center. Already have been talking with a few of you who have connected with us, who have gained some information and some insight from us, but lots more coming up. In particular, on the tables in front of you and available at our website for the live stream audience, bucknell.edu/SBDC. 9 upcoming educational programs. Look on the back, of course, is the next business Bytes and Brews right back here on the last Wednesday of August. But a couple that I'll highlight. If you know someone who is at the very earliest stages of starting up a business, every first Wednesday of the month, we present a program called The First Step. The first step is starting a business. Connect your friends, connect others in the business community with that great introduction to what it takes to put a plan together and launch a successful business. And then if you're in the earliest stages of setting up the bookkeeping for your business, one tool that you probably want to learn about is software. Easy accounting software or accounting software can make that task simple. Tomorrow morning is one of our webinars that we also offer. Tomorrow is about QuickBooks Online. So introduction to bookkeeping tomorrow morning. Next Wednesday, introduction to how do you start and launch a successful business. Beyond that, lots and lots of opportunities to learn about marketing, to learn about legal aspects, and more. Look to the Bucknell SBDC for education, and also for one-on-one consulting. We're ready to sit down with you, hear what you're working on, what kind of business goals you have, and help you take constructive steps toward them. Talk to me. Also highlight Amber Guerrero from our team. Amber especially will be leading some programs coming up about digital marketing and about how to, in a really creative way, use AI to help you in your business. So talk to me, talk to Amber. And again, Norm and everyone at Cup of Code, thanks for hosting Business Bytes and Brews. Dan, looking forward to learning from you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Cool. Dan, yeah, you're the man. Go with it. At the end, I'm going to ask you all to sign up if you'd like to hear more about other resources. So sign in and just let us know you were here. If you do not want us to add you to our email list, just check the box and allow you to opt in to and also do other resources. So without further ado, take it away, Dan.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're awake this afternoon. I know this is sometimes the lull, but luckily Ivy Coffee's got us hooked up over here. I'm going to be talking about BEC, which stands for Business Email Compromise. I'm going to call it BEC most of the time, so I don't have to keep saying that long string of words. But today we're going to learn what it is, what it looks like, and how to protect ourselves. But to start off, of course, it's not going to do it now. Technical difficulties, fun. There we go. There we go. We should be good. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am my husband to my lovely wife, Mary Grace, who hopefully will be tuning in here. She's going to try to. She's at work. And I'm a father to 3 bright, smiling children you see there. They smiled great for me in that picture. I also am a Tier 1 SOC analyst at ProCircular. ProCircular is a cybersecurity company. We do everything from both sides, from attack to defense, so we can help you find the weak points in your business. And in my department, we can help defend against them as well. I also have written cybersecurity articles, a few published. In fact, I have one up here in the Black Hills InfoSec Survival Guide that I wrote about good trainings. I've also written over 100 cybersecurity related articles from topics, different cybersecurity topics, aspects, or challenges. And lastly, I am a creator of things. As you can see in the picture there, that's a little coin that I made. In fact, I actually brought a different thing, a little Sasquatch golf ball maker. I like to create things. It's kind of one of my passions. It helps me relax, and I really enjoy it. But we didn't come here to talk about me. We came here to talk about BEC. What is it? So, business email compromise is when an attacker targets a business or employees by impersonating trusted individuals or organizations through email. Attackers may target C-suite executives, financial, HR, or even new staff. I was actually telling Norm about when I started at ProCircular. Literally the first week, I got a text message. Hey, this is the owner. Can you go get me some gift cards? The first week of starting there. So it's happening, and it's happening to me. But it all depends on what the attacker's end goal is. To start off, they're looking for trust. Attackers will use techniques not only to trick you into believing they are legitimate, but they may also add different elements into their initial contact to help garner an emotional reaction. This could be something like urgent, unpaid turnpike tolls, or your car's extended warranty is about to expire. So I know you all have seen it. Next, the attackers will gain enough trust with the user for them to make that quick decision, unknowingly giving the attacker access to their email. Once they are inside, depending on what their motives are, they may just sit there and watch what's going on, getting the lay of the land. They'll lurk a bit. They'll gain reconnaissance. If the account that they're in doesn't have enough permissions or not what they're looking for, they may use that account to convince somebody else. You never know. Once they are in and they got to the account they want, or they got the information they're looking for, they will use it to extract money or information. Typically, the former is what the attackers are after, but again, depending on their motives, it could be the information they're looking for. So, how does it really happen? Most of the tactics attackers use to perform BEC are very similar to each other. They're trying to trick you into giving them what they want. Let's take a couple look at a couple of the most common types of tactics attackers will use. Phishing and spear phishing. All of you have probably seen a phishing email. It's when an attacker tries to bait you into clicking on a malicious link. And I mentioned spear phishing up there. That's when the email is targeted at somebody. So it could be like Tim sitting over there. Oh, they know he's a little bit of a higher up. So they're going to try and find out what they can about him and gear the email specifically for him. Let's take a quick peek at an example. We have this lovely cup of code invoice. Can anybody spot anything that might seem suspicious up there?
The comment is after a space after the hello.
Good catch on that. I did not even catch that one.
There's an apostrophe after the little O, and you got to go to the first sentence.
How about, let's look at,
The day issued in the due date is not 15 days. I'd say I'm
Yeah.
trying to see it.
What's the extension on the email?
I'd say, what's the sender?
so up there, yes. Up, it says cup o code billing is the user's name. But the email is cup0code.marketing@gmail.com. I created that email in about 30 seconds. And a quick glance, you wouldn't know. You'd see, oh, cup of code billing. Oh, okay, it's my invoice. So
Also getting warned right there too.
that's going to be the next thing I bring up then. But good eye. So as you can see, there, at least with the email, it's a little off, and the domain is kind of being spoofed. So here's a little spoof test for you all. Let's see if we can spot the difference. In the first row, what's the difference? Can anybody see it? The L. So sometimes attackers will just misspell a word. They'll swap letters around, or they'll use, instead of a regular L, they'll use a capital I. It might look exactly the same. Next up, like I did in the email, instead of having the letter O, they'll replace numbers with letters. Or letters with numbers. Had that backwards. And so, yeah, cup0code.com. Quick glance, you're not going to notice a difference. How about the next one? Yep, Bank Off America. And so they'll add letters. Again, they're trying to mimic as close as possible the actual domain. And then the last one, they have PayPal in there, but it's a subdomain. The actual site is secure-site.com. They just made a subdomain that is PayPal.
And are we allowed to ask questions at this point, or would you prefer to hold?
You can ask a question. Sure, why not?
The question that I have is, so I understand that somebody like, and this is nothing against Cup of Code, you guys are probably at a point where somebody may spoof you. But for really small businesses, how much does stuff like this happen? Or is this something that applies more to the Bank of America than the Google?
This does apply to, I find it applies to all businesses. If you're making money, somebody wants to take it.
Just happened this once actually, 4 years ago.
And so, yeah, it all depends on who notices you and when, and how much effort they want to put into it. And so, in fact, that nowadays with AI, that invoice I made in ChatGPT. I literally gave it Cup of Codes, the stuff that they do, and asked, create me an invoice. And it made that invoice for me. And I actually shot Tim a message and said, hey, how close is this figure? And he goes, it's pretty close. And so I was just with the use of AI and how good it's getting nowadays, it's becoming easier and easier for these phishing emails to look more and more legitimate. So with this as Norm said, again, up here, I was going to say, I don't know if you can see me all the way over here. I'm going to use my pointing hand here. So as you can see, Norm pointed this one out. This sender is from outside the organization. So if you have an enterprise email, like in this case, it was Outlook, they will warn you when emails are coming outside your organization. So if somebody's trying to spoof somebody in the organization, that's a clear fire way of seeing that it's not. But the next one down here, you don't often get emails from cupocode.marketing. And so if you are getting your typical monthly invoice, it should not be saying that. So you're starting to see a couple things in here. But what if yours doesn't do that? Let's take a quick gander here. What this email is trying to get you to do. It says, please find attached your invoice. But if you look, there's no attachments on this email whatsoever. But if you go down here, proceed with the payment using the secured link. So they're trying to give you a false sense of security. Like, hey, it's a secured link. We're saying it is. But if you hover over it, it actually goes to this weirdo haircutfish.com's website. I also forgot to mention, I go by Haircut Fish online. So yeah, that just goes to my website. So, but if you hover over it, again, it's going to give you information. And so if Norm shared with me, he got an email, and when he hovered over the link, it didn't go to the website that it should have. It was going to a different one. So in this case, they could be spoofing the domain, or they could just being super lazy and just paste a link in there and hoping that they're not looking and you just click it, which 9 times out of 10, that's what people do. They don't hover over. So next up, let's just say the user decides to click the link. What happens next? The link goes to a fake sign-in page that looks legitimate, much like a Microsoft, but if you look at the domain in the top, it doesn't say Microsoft anywhere. The attacker could be using a tool like Evil Jinx. This is called an adversary in the middle attack. And basically what it does is it spoofs that sign-in page, and they can do Microsoft, Gmail, what have you. Put in your credentials, and it will send it to its own sign-in and attempt to sign in on your behalf. So now the attacker has your username and password to your email. But you're probably thinking, well, I got MFA. Well, that should be good. Well, Evil Jinx can do that as well. So what ends up happening, same thing with your username and password. It takes the code you put in and it sends it off on its own sign-in and attempts to log in. And once they have that, they're pretty much in. But there's one more last piece of the puzzle. And that is session cookies. Now, I know this is getting a little technical in this spot, but basically what the session cookie does is it keeps your login session so that when you log back in, you don't have to put it in your username, password, and MFA every single time. So it saves that. Can anybody guess how long a session cookie lasts for an MFA session cookie? Any guesses?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 years, 10 seconds.
So, by Microsoft standards, they last forever. There's no clear documentation on when they actually expire, but unless you revoke those sessions, they last forever. So I have a quick video, as long as it plays here, of this attack occurring. So basically the machine on the left here, that is our attacker, and the Windows machine, that is the victim. Victim gets this email for a survey. Oh, let's check it out. Oh, okay, I can fill out this clean water survey. Okay, I'll just go to the link that's in the email. Doesn't hover over, just clicks it. Now the user is being redirected. And it's like, oh, I got to sign in? Oh, okay. So as it loads here, click on the username. That's who I'm going to sign in as. Oh, I need my password. Okay, let's put the password in. Going to get the password and paste it on in there. Okay, now I'm signing in. Oh, it needs me to put in the or go into Microsoft Authenticator and click accept. And as you can already see, the attacker has the username and password. Okay, now we're signed in. The victim is none the wiser. So over here on the attacking machine, what we're going to end up doing is we're pulling up the session cookie here in a moment, because that's right there is where they got the session cookie. So we're going to grab it. There it is. That's the cookie. We're going to copy that cookie, and we're going to head over to the browser here. Moment. And we're going to try and log in. Now, it's already asking for the user's email, but what we're doing is deleting all the cookies so that can't log in. Pasting that new MFA session cookie in there, and then just going to refresh the page. And now we're into the email. Yeah, I think this video is 2 minutes long. 2 minutes, and an attacker's in your email. And hey, look, there's that clean water survey. So it's some scary stuff, but what can we do to defend against it? Or not that far yet. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. What are some of the impacts that BEC can have on your business? The biggest one for most businesses is financial loss. The FBI reported between 2013 and 2023 that there was a total of $55 billion lost because of BEC. Some notable BEC cases were the government of Puerto Rico in 2019 and 2020 for $4 million. Toyota in 2019 for $37 million, and Ubiquity Networks in 2015 for $46 million. Now, I know these are all big numbers and big companies, but it doesn't have to be a big company. And granted, it doesn't have to be millions of dollars. You're a small business. If somebody breaches into your email, they could potentially just get you closed. It's sad to say, but it's not hard for them to do. The other impacts, operational disruption. It's not only financial. It'll impact your business, and it just might bring you to a halt. You can't do anything. They might ransomware your machines to where you can't get on anything. And then you're spending time to investigate, and then money again to try and figure out what's going on. And then lastly, the reputational damage. The reputation that you have been building and striving to cultivate can easily be torn down because of a BEC. And I know it wasn't a BEC, but I always like to bring up the Target hack. After that occurred, it took people a long time to build trust in Target's like credit card and using cards at Target. They're finally, because they are a corporation, back to where they are. But for small businesses, losing your reputation is a huge thing. So now we're to where how can we protect ourselves? So we can start by awareness and training. It always starts with that. You can't protect what you don't know. Making the knowledge both known and useful is important. And how has anybody ever performed a phishing test at their business? Bucknell? Okay, yes. I don't know if you can answer or not. is the same person or people always falling for the phishing tests?
We have a customer that part of their plan with us was monitoring security and performance of these tests, and it was usually the same 5 people within the company that were always clicking that email. It was always an invoice from the vendor.
Yup. And that's the thing is, you might get a couple outliers like, oh, the test was real good, you get it, but you'll have those same people. And I found, at least personally for myself, if the information that, oh, I fell for a fish, I got to go sit through this training video again, like the information is not useful and it does not seem important to them. You have to make it important and useful. There is a company, and I'd have to look it up, but the CEO, Rachel Toback, she does different training videos, but that's her goal, is to make them very interesting, fun, and knowledgeable. And she's an amazing cybersecurity expert. Then social proof, yes. Yeah. She does different videos. She has some videos on YouTube where she does social engineering, and she's amazing at it. Next up is the email verification. Verifying the person sending the email is who they say they are. Going back to the phishing example, is it coming from a legitimate source, or does it only appear so? Hovering over links to see where they actually go. Don't trust those hyperlinks at face value. Before acting on something vitally important, make a quick call to confirm with another party. And again, I'm going to bring up me and Norm's conversation. During one of the things he was going through, he kept saying, I want to talk to somebody. But the people would refuse to talk to him. They're like, no, we do it only through email. I say, especially with financial transactions, call the place up before a big transaction. Be like, hey, I'm about to pay this invoice. And usually, if it's legitimate, they're like, okay, sounds good. We'll look forward to your payment. But if it's not, they'll be like, what are you talking about? And so just that level of verification can help stop a lot of these attacks. And it has happened both in big and small businesses where invoice comes in, accounts payable just sees it and just sends it right off. No call, no nothing. And there goes $4,000 out the door. So, yeah.
We've had some clients at Cup of Code that have failed it wasn't a test, it was a legit phishing scam.
Mm-hmm.
And the customer was out a couple $100,000 because they were using like Outlook, or they were using a less than secure, or verified email provider.
Mm-hmm.
Are there insurance policies that you're aware of that can cover businesses that get into this sort of thing?
There is cyber insurance that they would, they basically have a set guidelines, like you need to meet these things for us to insure you. And yeah, that could be in there. And it also depends on the insurance. Unfortunately, I don't know as much about that, but
insurance guy.
Yeah, so it'll depend on the insurance, what they require, but a lot of them try and stick to a lot of the regular cybersecurity frameworks, and so like PCI compliant and such. So, but yeah, if you have insurance for cybersecurity, or if your insurance offers it, it'd be a good thing to call them up, be like, hey, what do you guys require for us to be covered for cybersecurity under the insurance? And that'll give you a good, at least if you're not their starting point to go off of. Yeah.
So what happened if you already, when you said about that you got an email
Mm-hmm.
and you click, they don't ask you for money or anything like that, but they ask you to log in.
Mm-hmm.
You're already there. Then how you can protect yourself after that, what you can do to fix it?
So if you've already clicked the link and put in the credentials, for I don't want to say for bigger companies, but say like Bucknell or something like that, you'd call like the IT staff, like, hey, I clicked this phishing link. Like, don't ever be ashamed that you did. Everybody has. I know I have at least once. But if you are, say, a smaller business and you don't have the IT staff for that, the first thing you want to do is when you get back in your email, change your passwords. Change the password right away, because that will get rid of, that should, for the most part, revoke any active sessions, or at least ask you, do you want to revoke any active sessions? And you click yes, and it'll log everything out, and then you can log back in with your new password. Again, with the MFA session tokens, usually by resetting the password, it will log everything out, so you have to log back in. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Again, and I'll say this later, if you guys do have any questions after this, even after today's over, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or any of my socials. I try and be as helpful as I can. I love to talk cybersecurity, and I love to help people. So, but moving on to the use of cybersecurity tools. There are some tools out there that can help you to mitigate some of these issues. You can start with email filtering, which will block suspicious emails from reaching users. You can enable rules to block based on email content, sender reputation, or even URL analysis, which that last one I think is more for the bigger businesses, but you can at least go in and block content from not necessarily reputable senders. You can enlist DMARC as an email authentication protocol. This helps to prevent email spoofing and phishing by verifying the sources of the emails. Or you can use an email security company. A couple that I know, Mimecast, Proofpoint, and KnowBe4 are great. In fact, I know somebody that works for KnowBe4, awesome company, and they have your best interests at mind or at heart. Then policies and procedures. Creating and implementing policies and procedures will give you and your staff clear steps, as well as understanding the standards in place. Some could be the email verification and authentication, what to do with financial transactions, continual monitor and auditing policy, and this is just to name a few. And then having an incident response plan in place. This is for when it goes sideways. You want to have this plan in place so that you know what to do. You're not just be like, oh no, I'm compromised. What am I going to do? What's next? You have a clear, concise plan. Oh, okay, this occurred. These are my next steps. This is what I have to do. This is who I have to call. Much like the policies and procedures, the clear steps beforehand can be the determining factor on how that incident is handled and mitigate a lot of the steps. And ensuring all employees know how to report suspicious emails or potential breaches quickly and effectively. So as I said, if you get an email, oh man, I clicked this phishing email, who do they report to? Who do they need to talk to? What do they need to do? Having that information easily accessible and knowledgeable is going to be a game changer. Then the company I work for, ProCircular, when a client or a company goes through a business email compromise, these are a few of the recommendations we give to them. The first one being the admin consent for enterprise applications. Basically having somebody, having an admin go through and evaluate the necessity and reputation of the applications you're using in your business can help mitigate this. Where, oh, Ted came in and he likes using this one application. well, is it a good application? Where'd it come from? Is it something our business truly needs, or is it just something Ted likes to use personally? And I don't know who Ted is. It's just a guy I made up. So then phishing resistant MFA. Of course, I left my keys down there. So has anybody heard of YubiKeys? They're literally a little thing. It has a USB on it. It can be USB-C or A that you can plug into your device. That's a physical thing that you have with you that can be used as MFA that they cannot spoof. It'll help. It would have a FIDO2 security key, and it would help stop adversary in the middle attacks. I've had one on my keys for about 2 years. I love the thing. And it even has a little thumbprint recognizer on it. So I can plug it into my computer and I can just put my thumb on it, just like I do my phone. But it's something I have that they cannot go in and replicate. So then next, restricting logins. This can be restricting them to either managed devices that are registered within your business. So phones, computers, etc., or just your business IP, not allowing people to log in outside of your business's internet. That can stop a lot of attacks. A lot of them tend to come from outside the United States. So if just implementing those restrictions will help. Token protection. Token protection is a conditional access policy that ties a user session token to the device they signed into. So much like the MFA, phishing resistant MFA, having that token connected to the device will stop, having that connected to the device will make stealing session tokens less effective, because while they could take that token, they don't have access to the secret located locally on the user's machine. So they would not be able to actually use it. And then finally, unified audit logging. By enabling this, it centralizes all log collection from Microsoft services while capturing a wide range of activities. Giving admins access to the Microsoft Purview portal allows them to easily search through and filter through these audit logs. And then lastly, this tip comes directly from our incident response lead, is change the default log. Once you enable the unified audit logging, this it will change it to 180 days, which gives you a wide span. So if an attacker is sitting in your environment, it gives you more files to look at. So finally, in conclusion, we got the Triforce of cybersecurity there. Prepare, verify, and know. Prepare, being proactive and implementing defense in depth as well as incident response plan will ensure potential breaches are handled swiftly. Giving your users the training and awareness to be able to spot a threat can potentially stop the attackers in their tracks. Verify, checking an email's authenticity by checking the sender's details and hovering over the hyperlinks. Advocate for verification steps outside of email or SMS if any financial transactions are to be made, and implementing conditional access policy to limit logins to only managed devices or business networks. And then lastly, know. Recognizing the tactics, techniques, and procedures attackers use to phish their way into your business, and knowing the financial, operational, and reputational impact a BEC can have. Cybersecurity is not a set it and forget it mindset. Regularly review and update security policies, which can greatly improve your security posture and better set you on a path for success. So do I have any questions?
So we use web-based CRM software for all of our data.
Mhm.
So I've got Credit Card on file in there. We've got over 300 clients now with, all their addresses, personal information, emails, phone numbers, all that kind of stuff in there. Now it's web-based, so I don't, like, the guys log into it on an app on their phones, but it's just a placeholder. It takes them to the website. So in your opinion, what would be the easiest way to make sure all that data stays secure?
So,
I also access it admin through my desktop.
okay.
In the office.
So for that, I would say I'm guessing it's a software that you're kind of using, like it's another company's software.
Correct.
Okay.
Market.
Okay. So in those regards, you're kind of up to how they're doing security and making sure it's all up to snuff. And you can always say, ask them for like, hey, can I see? Sometimes they won't show you if they are SOC 2 compliant, but you can say, hey, you can reach out to them, ask them what their security policies are, how they handle the client information that is being stored in there, who has access to it on their side, and try and just understand what they're doing and where they're how they're securing your data, because ultimately if something would happen on their end, you're the one kind of holding the bag for it, at least in your customer's mind. So again, that actually kind of goes back to the Target hack. It wasn't technically Target that got hacked. It was their HVAC system that they hacked into, but then got into Target. So it was a third party that got hacked, but through that access, they got that information. And so just being cognizant of possible security flaws that they have. I don't expect everybody to be security experts, but hey, ask questions. It's the easiest thing you can do, and just having an understanding helps.
So Dan, I don't know if you would know about this, but like to your point, a lot of us as small business people, we're using other software solutions. We think a little bit about security, but like at a very basic level, we're budget limited. So I'm out there and using these different things. What's your experience with like cybersecurity insurances, and do you have any idea how all that comes into play? So like I run my business through a third party software. We all know companies that have had data breaches everywhere. I mean, you get them from the hospitals, you get them from all kinds of places. It's a regular occurrence. So like we're probably not even going to understand what their security policy means. So how, what do we do?
So with cyber insurance, yeah, and trying to look at these third parties that you're dealing with, again, it's going to be up to them on how much they really want to share with you. Sometimes they don't want to share how their cybersecurity works, just because if it's them being phished, they're like, we don't want to give out how we do it. So in those cases, again, you try and get as much as you can, but ultimately it also does come down to a little bit of trust. Even though I'm very leery about anything nowadays, I try not to like I'm going to use my personal Facebook as an example. Before I started learning cybersecurity, I was always posting pictures of my kids and just random things on Facebook, what have you. As I learned about it and I learned the dangers, I have cut down posting to social media to practically nothing. I still have them, and I posted that I have the talk today, but I usually try and keep it cybersecurity related. I don't ever really post pictures of my kids anymore. I've lost trust in a lot of things, and that's just because I'd rather have the zero trust that they don't know what they're doing. It sounds terrible, but least privilege is always the moniker, I guess, where I'm starting to go off on a tangent in cybersecurity, which is really easy to do.
Because you guys, you've probably seen all the worst case scenarios and all the horror stories that happen, and I'm just sitting here thinking about how does this, like, we all know that it's out there. I mean, I had a small business. I mean, I knew about it, but like, was I personally overly concerned about it? No, I wasn't. But maybe I should have been more conscious. So I'm just trying to think about, like, how do I bring that back to what are the baseline things?
And that's, yeah, I don't ever expect somebody that doesn't want to know about cybersecurity or necessarily care about it to put a ton of like effort into it. It's just how it is. Like everybody has the things that they are into and want to put the time into. And even with cybersecurity, just a little bit of knowledge in it will help you in the long run. Just having a little suspicion. Any email that I get at work, I automatically don't think it came from the person it comes from. That's my start. Any email, actually even personal emails, anything I get, I automatically don't start with, hey, is this from that person? I start kind of checking that list. Like, just look at the email. Like, I think the three biggest thing is if you look at the email address, that will give it away 9 times out of 10. Nowadays, they do have ways of spoofing somebody's actual email. Previous business I worked at, they actually had it to where they had the owner's name in the email header, but it wasn't him. They just had it spoofed. But you don't see it as much nowadays. But again, if you look at just the email address and hover over the hyperlink, oh, that's not going to Cup of Code. That's not going to haircutfish.com. That's I just go by. I don't trust any of it.
So I'm sure, I'd love to hear everybody else's experience on this. But my phone number being on Google, I've only been on Google for a little over a year now. I'm on Google, Facebook, I'm out there now in the world with my phone number plastered everywhere. I have found that I get 3 to 5 phone calls a day of, oh, we can manage your Google site and all this thing. But what kicks me is I get phone calls from my phone number. My business's phone number has called me on my phone number. I'm not quite sure how that works, but it does. I have gotten calls where a contact of mine comes up. I've got over 2,000 contacts on my phone. One of those comes up. I answer it. It's a heavily accented individual trying to sell me something that's clearly not anything that I should be in with.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get to, I talk to that client maybe later that week, they go, oh, that's still our phone number. We never called you. So, like, is there a way to prevent that, mitigate that, screen that before, if I get a phone call from John, but it's one of those telemarketers, how do I get around that and avoid that? Because I've gotten pretty good. I kind of know the phone numbers and the area codes we can talk.
I was going to say, well, to be completely honest, I have yet to find a way to mitigate that. I get probably 15 to 20 calls just in working hours from scammers. They have some sort of software that they tend to use that will mask where it's coming from. So I'll see it from all over Pennsylvania. I'll see it outside state. It kind of depends on what they're using. They can easily spoof your contacts. There was, I believe it was an app on the App Store. This was probably 10 years ago at this point, where at the time they were like spoofing Barack Obama, like calling people, but it wasn't him, obviously. It was just they were using this app. But the scammers have access to this same type of software. So unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for that. I wish I did, but between data brokers and just scammers trying to make money off of anybody, there really isn't much of a way.
I heard like hover, don't click.
Yes.
That's a great practice. For a noob business owner,
Mm-hmm.
what are like telltale signs, like sticks out like a sore thumb. That is, that's a threat actor. That's a bad person.
So as I showed that invoice, I made that in ChatGPT in 30 seconds. With the advancements of AI, it's getting easier for them to make emails look legitimate. So you have to go to things that they might not necessarily be able to control. So in the case, look at the email. It might say, hey, Cup of Code marketing, but if you actually look at the email, no, it's coming from a Gmail address. So in some cases, yeah, like Bucknell, it might say, oh, it's Bucknell Sporting, I don't know. Yeah. So that they try and make it, that type of practice, it's called typo squatting, basically. They try and make their domain look as legitimate as possible. I literally just had a talk with a client the other day that they were getting hammered with these emails, but it looked like they were legitimate. And I think they ended up they're like, well, how are we going to fight against this? It's like, you could, it can get expensive, but register the domains that they're supposedly trying to typo squat. So if it's like bucknellsporting.com, you can register that. But again, it can get pricey, especially for small businesses. But an easy way would be like DMARC. That's, you can do on your own. It's free to do. And say you got Cup of Code. You guys do email, right? Or, well, domains. Yeah. Yeah, like Cup of Code. They can help you get DMARC set up on your site. So that will help the email verification process.
We've all gotten spam emails.
Yes.
Our entire lives, right? I've seen them getting better. Right?
Mhm.
And what I perceive out there is that the creators of spam emails, I used to be able to spot, typos, grammar, punctuation was just all over the place. Now you're running that through, or they're running that through ChatGPT, and we're getting things that look like someone actually wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's really hard to spot fakes in the actual emails nowadays, which is, again, what I always go back to, look at the links, like hover over the links. There is a site that you could use. It takes a little signing up, and you have to also be on Discord so they can verify you. But it's called any.run. I have an account on there, but you can get basically 60 seconds. Oh, I got this weird link. You can copy that link, paste it into any.run, and it'll run that in a sandbox, and it'll give you like a little readout of what it was doing. It'll be like, click on the little threat tab. Okay, well, it was trying to go to a known malicious website. Or at the top, it gives you indicators of compromise. It gives you like the different IP addresses and what have you. But even with that, yeah, it can tell you, this is not a legitimate website, or they'll even categorize it as phishing, malicious, what have you.
I just have a quick, to kind of go back to Norm's question, when you're a brand new business owner, in case that happens to be anybody in the room today. I had many years ago a banking background, and then I remembered in my own business, one of the biggest things you get is somebody really urgently wants to pay with a credit card for something, and they're very excited to give you money. And there's a lot of credit card scam that happens, and I see it with clients. I had it happen. I will never forget it happening to a bed and breakfast. Somebody wanted to pay for the room, and they charged them, and then it got charged back, and they sold money. And so that definitely does happen, and it always feels a little off. The challenge when we're business owners is, especially when we're new, we're often very hungry for the work and the money, and we get very excited by it. And so that's the other place to temper your emotions. If it seems too easy and too good, it just may be. I will share one quick personal story because I would get those regularly, and one day I get an email asking for 975 orders of strawberry shortcake. And I'm like, what is this? So to Dan's point, I went and I looked, and lo and behold, it was actually for once real. It was from the hospital, but I only knew because they were renovating. They were renovating their kitchen. It was really random, but it required that extra bit of verification because I normally would have written that off as spam. So just be mindful of that piece. There is a lot of that happens in small business, a lot.
Mhm.
One thing to add to your story, but I know home service businesses we have here, but a lot of times they'll get, like, I work for a lot of landlords that they live in Florida, but they have 4 rentals up here from the university. So I mow and maintain their properties here in Lewisburg. I've never met them, never talked to them on the phone, but the check comes every week, so we're good. I've got that notification, I can find the business, things like that. But we get all the time, hey, I've got 10 clients. If you send me this information, I can get those right over to you. And when I was younger, I did that and learned pretty quick how to cipher that out and figure out who's got the legit properties here ready to be worked on and who's just totally exchange trying to get some money out.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, as you go through it, and as you start looking at the spam emails, you're gonna start spotting them real quick and real easy. While the main body of that email might look legitimate, you'll spot, like, again, email doesn't look right. Hey, it's coming from outside the organization. You don't normally get emails from this place. So it's definitely something that is essential to have and to understand, but you don't necessarily have to dive down the rabbit hole of cybersecurity to be secure. And again, if you have any questions outside this, that's my socials. Everything's on Linktree, but my main that you can reach me is on LinkedIn, and then my website haircutfish.com, which has all my write-ups that I've done on it. Feel free to reach out to me. I love helping as much as I can, and if I can't help you, I'll try and get you pointed in the right direction. And then ProCircular, the company I work for, we offer red team engagements, which will test your business to find out what vulnerabilities you may have. And in those reports, we'll even be like, here's how you can mitigate that or defend against it. And then there's the SOC, Security Operations Center, which is where I work. We get the alerts in, we look at them, we triage them, and if it's bad, we'll let you know. If it's not, we end up closing it out. So I thank you all for coming. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Dan's going to be here for a little bit.
Yep.
It's we're coming up on 3:00, so please feel free to ask him some more questions, engage them, and talk amongst each other and ask us any questions. But thanks again. Remember, it's the last Wednesday of every month here at Cup of Code and live on the World Wide Web. Thank you, Al Gore, for inventing the internet. And yeah, that'll wrap it up. Enjoy some snacks and
Can I say one thing real quick, just to kind of bring, there's one aspect of this whole email security that every person in here I know can find very beneficial because we work with a lot of you in this. But just remember, if somebody gets access to your business Google Gmail account, they also own your Google business profile online. And when you lose that, that is hard to get back. So email security, even if you don't find it valuable because of like the links or the invoicing or anything, losing your digital profile is a really big deal if you're a small business.
Yeah.
So, Norm, when is Business Bytes Brews?
it's John was here last Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month, which is not the Wednesday we hold Business Bytes and Brews. It's the last Wednesday of the month. The last Wednesday of the month. The last Wednesday of the month.
If anyone has anything fishy happening with their devices, you can blame the man that used the flipper for the entire presentation.
Hey, I used it as a slide to the thing.
He used it for good. Not
I
to
used it
break
for
into
good
my
today.
Car, like Tim did to break into my electric car 2 years ago. So
These are fun devices, and they got a lot more apps on there now. So
thanks for telling him that.
you're welcome.
I just downloaded that sound keychain from the 90s.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So, if you wanted to come up, I do. As I said, I have the article that I wrote in here. I also have a different InfoSec survival guide from Black Hills, which has different cybersecurity articles in it. A good training that they offer, it's called Backdoors and Breaches. And so it's a card game, and you don't necessarily need to have the cards. They have an online version of it. But basically, you have 4 cards, and it's your scenario. And what you're trying to do is figure out how the attacker got in. And so it's a fun way to not only learn cybersecurity concepts, it also helps you kind of get in the mindset of what to look for and what to do. And so you're more than welcome to come up and check them out or what have you. Thank you guys for coming out. You don't have to stay seated.
Thanks, Dan.
Not a problem.